changed our lives. There's some positive things, I get it, but negative things too. And the thing is, it's, there's all this science out there right now that's changed our brain chemistry, but it may be changing our body and our hormones as well, and that could be very bad news. So look, Dr. Avantika Waring, Chief Endocrinologist at Kaiser Permanente, is here this morning. So this new evidence, we've been talking about it, I shared it with you, is the idea that maybe phones are increasing the level of cortisol in our body, which is a hormone. What exactly would that mean if we are seeing increased levels of cortisol in our body?
So I think to understand, we need to understand what cortisol actually does. It's considered to be a fight or flight hormone, and it has a bunch of effects. So it promotes wakefulness, increases sugar levels in your body so that your muscles have energy to be active, raises the blood pressure, and that helps us to respond to stress and activity. And it also has a very natural rhythm where we expect the levels to be high at some times of the day and low at other times. So for example, the highest levels are typically seen right after waking up. That gets us ready to face the day. And then throughout the afternoon and the evening, the levels will decline, and that helps us to maintain a sleep-wake cycle so we can wind down and get to bed okay.
So if it's high, much more than that natural cycle, it's like I'm facing a bear 24 hours a day.
Exactly, and really you're just facing, an email alert or something. So that's exactly the point. So those effects are all really helpful for the appropriate setting.
Bear.
Getting
away from a bear.
Right, or the start of a marathon or something.
Yep.
But in our day-to-day lives, if we have this chronic elevation, we get chronic effects of what I described. So you may have trouble sleeping, your blood sugars can be high inappropriately. Now that could make somebody prone to diabetes or worsen diabetes control in someone who already has the condition, can lead to chronically high blood pressures as well. And then some other effects to think about are, your body in a fight or flight response wants to hold on to calories and energy. So if you have chronically elevated cortisol levels, that can lead to weight gain and obesity as well. So these are just some of the effects. And then we talked about that natural rhythm.
Yeah.
I think that's super important with cortisol, because if we're looking at our phones and getting triggered by alerts late at night, and that interferes with sleep, that can actually interfere with our sleep-wake cycles because your cortisol is high when it's not supposed to be.
Right.
And then you don't sleep. So then the next day, it gets worse.
Yeah.
It's kind of a vicious cycle.
That sounds awful. So is it only my phone? Is it other screens? Does Kindle do this same kind of thing? Like, what do I need to be concerned about?
Well, I don't know that we have data yet to say whether, a Kindle or a blue light filter is going to change the cortisol effects, but I think anything that would help you sleep better, so if changing the backlighting helps you to fall asleep more easily, that would help restore a normal cortisol patterns. And I think Kindles and e-readers are a little bit different because we don't engage with them in the same way. They're not demanding our attention.
Right. It's not constant alerts.
Exactly. It's a screen, but it's not, you don't engage or interact with it in that way. So I would imagine that it wouldn't spike your cortisol levels unless you're reading something really exciting.
Right. And then you're not reading it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Exactly.
What advice do you have for people? I mean, obviously, maybe put the phone down a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I think these devices are here to stay. They're an essential part of our life. So we really need to learn how to live with them in the healthiest way possible. I think limit setting is really the key. So we talked a little bit about notifications. I think we have some notifications that are essential. So calendar, work-related stuff.
Go pick up my kid from school.
Exactly. Right? You don't want to forget that. But then there's also notifications that we could maybe consider non-essential, social media alerts, news updates, things that you can look at on your own time but don't need to be kind of spiking your anxiety and stress every time you get this bing from the phone. So I think trying to turn some of those non-essentials off would be a good step. And then we can't put our phones away for the whole night, fine, but maybe scheduling some time away from the phone. So just like you said, I think the less time we spend on a screen, just like we're telling our kids, go outside and exercise, the less time we adults spend on a screen, the more opportunities we'll have to go outside, get exercise, engage with our communities, and really be present with our loved ones.
Because it really will impact our health. Even if this is, out in left field, just getting outside and just doing that is good for your hormones and your body in general.
Exactly, and exercise and physical activity is helpful for preventing diabetes, depression, and actually physical activity lowers cortisol levels.
Right.
So,
there you go.
There you go. I think we've solved the problem.
I like it.
Yeah.
Dr. Waring with Kaiser Permanente, thank you very much for being
Thanks
here,
for having
Chief of
me.
Endocrinology, helping us kind of understand this.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Sure.